Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel on a brand new video on Marvel Contest of Champions. This, as you can see, is the lovely wall of complete mythicality, mythological, questioning, marky things of champions that are coming in 2018, maybe a bit beyond. It just depends. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be updating this list from the new champions that we know are coming into the game, as well as ones which I think fit a lot better than the last time I did this. Yes, because this theoretically is a follow-up video. If you keep locked to the channel, which you should do by hitting notifications on, then you'll know that we did at the start of the year, about 3-4 months ago, a video about who were behind these question marks. And to a large degree, we were wrong. But there were some ones we were right on. However, though, I feel that there has been a lot of kind of like talk about stuff and a lot of champions that really fit better this time. So yeah, I'm admitting sort of defeat and taking the L, but I'm going to turn it into a big fat W when I come up with this new kind of scheme of question mark answering a new champions in, you know what I mean. Let's just get into the video and stop talking. Okay, so let's begin with what we know. And yes, I am Mini Rich the Man in the bottom right hand corner. Yes, I shall call him Mini-Me. And obviously, rest in peace, Vern Troy. So let's begin. We've got Killmonger and we've got Hulk Ragnarok. We know that we've got these champions. They're in the game, obviously, because that was the February release. And we also know that there was Void as well as Sentry. And obviously, Sentry was already in this to begin with. But Void, yeah, okay, we know that we have him. And we also chuffing well know that we've got Bishop, Sentinel, as well as Sabretooth. The positioning of those ones that I have chosen, I think it's pretty logical where they are. Hulk Ragnarok, now I have put him in a certain way that links to Hulk Ragnarok, which then goes up to Killmonger. And it seems to be a kind of scheme of monthlies where things are released in a monthly and they kind of chain together. So if you notice, and we'll talk about in next month, which is May, we'll be seeing a kind of a Captain America Infinity War as well as a new Iron Man suit which link together. So it's kind of each champion that's put in, more than likely, and 9 times out of 10 will link together. There will be kind of a few odd ones, which obviously Sentinel, because he kind of sits on the shelf kind of away from all the action with the X-Men, because he's kind of a type of a protagonist. But that's how really that structure works. It's only when we get into the next couple of months that things get a little bit more kind of tricky. At the same time, comic book justification with movie releases and kind of some other stuff that are really going to help and solidify those champions we're going to choose. Next up, my choice for Kovasclave and Proxima Midnight to go into these two slots is based on the fact they're husband and wife. So the linking together seems pretty darn logical and nothing to do with the bottom half. In the last video, I did say that it would be more the case of being, oh yeah, it's going to be Ebony Maw, it's going to be Black Dwarf, it's going to be all the Black Order. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I'm pretty certain I'm dead wrong about this. This kind of logical thinking about where the other 5 positions and what they could be, aka these 5 slots here, are kind of justified based on other content that's been released in the past in the game. Over in the top right hand corner, I had to get it right then because I'm in the lower right, hello, and the red circles up at the top. You can see a lot of these kind of like Frank Strange. I can't remember a lot of them because it was such a random event that was put in with this kind of Hotel MODOK. But these ones here, they make me think that, well, if these were put into this particular one here, then it obviously means that we know who those bottom 5 slots are and belong to. And that's right, it belongs to the Nameless. So you've got that Dark King Groot, we've got as well the kind of like Dark Guillotine, we've got that Scarlet Witch, we've got the Hyperion, and then we've got the Visions. And also obviously completing the Thanos army. Not that I could ever would associate Dormammu with that, but it doesn't matter. Like Kabam makes up their own stories with regards to these, so I guess that's cool. But that really kind of solidifies the Thanos army, and it's kind of taken away from the Black Order stuff, which in my opinion is a little bit disappointing because there could have been a lot more. There could have been a lot more they did with the whole kind of Avengers, Infinity War type angle. But you know, that's the thing. Like storytelling, I really would like to kind of play a lot more Marvel games to see how they kind of do things with regards to movie releases and kind of tie things into into stories? Do they go off on a tangent? Do they stick to the source material? Do they follow the MCU? What do they do? That is something that I think would be cool. Like, what other games developers are kind of doing story wise? And obviously, moving over to May, we can see that we are definitely going to get that Captain America, the Infinity War version. Not unfortunately like Nomad version, or maybe kind of Wakanda enhanced, which have been quite good. At the same time, with regards to Iron Man, I'm pretty certain he's going to take on some kind of technological advancements from Wakanda, but he is going to be called Infinity War, which again, in my opinion, is a little bit annoying, because obviously we had Stark Enhanced Spidey, which was a kind of movie replica when it came to that, but obviously they're going to do their own thing in game, and also Kabam are going to do their own thing. It's cool, and I think that the fit actually works well, this kind of way that, as I said previously, 1 month to another. So this is basically the May release. It's kind of like really close to one another, and that theory seems to be kind of going quite strong. Not completely strong if you kind of look into the Bishop kind of theory with that, but you know, 9 times out of 10 it's right, 1 times out of 10 it's wrong. But there you go, good fits there. You can see that the kind of Captain America is then going across to the other version, and then going off to the World War II version, and that's going off to another one, which we'll talk about in a minute. And as well, a good fit for that Iron Man armor, the new one. And like I said, we all hope that it's going to be fantastic at the point of release. Next up, I'm kind of pushing us forward to the kind of July, or kind of June-ish July time. We're looking at Ant-Man and the Wasp being released in theatres, and I think this would be a good fit when it comes to Wasp being put in. I don't know if they would then, instead of this, going for a different type of Ant-Man with regards to like going to more of a giant form, a different style and appearance of Ant-Man. We don't have a Hank Pym version. We have got a Scott Lang version in. I'd like to see that, but I just don't think it would fit. I feel that there's been too much of an emphasis on male characters, especially at the start of this year. So there has to be some kind of representation for females, and I think Wasp would be a good champion to put into the game. So I'm pretty certain and pretty strict on this being Wasp. Next up, I'm flying over to the right. I'm pretty certain on this one being Red Skull, the Captain America World War II, linking across to Red Skull, putting that kind of Hydra vibe. I think, and I'm pretty certain, we're probably due a Hydra based event in game. And that theory kind of comes from, well, we had one last year. Hydra is a massive thing with regards to Marvel, and in every right it should be pinging up left, right and centre, or not left, right and centre, but say once a year a Hydra based event. Last year we had the Secret Empire, and this year I feel that we should have something similar, if not something new. It would be kind of cool to kind of revisit all the Hydra stuff and kind of like link in a few champions here or there, Captain America as well as Winter Soldier, and have this kind of very World War II vibe, or like they did last time, this kind of alternate universe with Punisher 2099. So that would be quite cool to see. I think this year must be the year. They're sitting on these champions for a long time. It's in the game files. It should be released at some point. Next up, my pick is Captain Marvel, and this is one that I think is a pretty solid one based on what's going to happen with Captain Marvel next year when the film is released. I think it would fit very well if you think about the start point of Carol Danvers and her powers. So yeah, I'm pretty certain, I'm pretty happy with this choice. Next up, I'm linking over to Thor Ragnarok, and I've got Valkyrie and also I've got Korg. Big bang and big kind of like cashing in could be done with these two characters. They came out on so strong with regards to the film and with regards to the fan base for Korg especially. It's just so mega. So I mean, I can see it, like even though that we've been and gone with the film, I think that there could be a good opportunity to putting either in, or even some stuff like changed around, like if we're kind of looking for a link from Thor Ragnarok all the way up to Hulk Ragnarok. Could there something be changed around with that he comes to the bottom left, and instead something linking with Killmonger, with Ulysses Claw? Because I have gone away from that idea now. I think obviously with the release of the DVD, will we see anything like Claw being a villain that could be put in, or could we even see something with Shuri? But I'm pretty happy with my choice here. I could be dead wrong, and we could see Shuri, and we could see Ulysses Claw in a kind of scaled down version. I'd love to see Ulysses Claw, a great character, but unfortunately I won't go into the details of what happens to him in Black Panther, but I was a little bit disappointed with how well the backstory and the utilization of that, that's one of the major criticisms I have about the film, and it was very difficult to find a criticism with Black Panther as a film. Moving steadily over, and this kind of question mark that's above the Guardians of the Galaxy seems to be, for me, either two particular characters it could be, either Nova or Adam Warlock. With the release of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 pushed back quite extensively, and depending on obviously how the game progresses into 2019 or kind of the end of 2018, what kind of question marks we're going to be filling up with this, it could be a good fit, as well as like Nova not really making a great appearance unless there's going to be some surprise thing when it comes to at the end of the week and Infinity Wars. People just don't know what's going on. A lot of things have been kept secret, or even the second Avengers film, second Avengers Infinity War film. Will there be a kind of an appearance of that character? And will we see anything when it comes to 2019? We just don't know. Either way, if Kabam are looking to kind of fill a void above the Guardians of the Galaxy, these two would be a good fit. I don't know how they, if there's another character that I've missed out in order to kind of like fit in that spot, but I think those two are pretty solid with regards to their involvement with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but not being part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Next up, I'm kind of flying off to the left. This is incredibly difficult for me to kind of pinpoint which two mutants there could be. We had that kind of tease, if you've seen that kind of Beast Sabretooth thing, where they're kind of like up against the wall and there's loads of different kind of names of different characters. To try and fit the correct ones in, not sure. I'm going with the tease from a long time ago where they had Apocalypse's belt, and also because they teased the name of Mr. Sinister, David Essex, Nathaniel Essex. David Essex is an artist. That's a bit of a fail, isn't it? Anyway, the fact that they were both kind of like they have been teased in the past, I'm going to go for those. And obviously the two that I would really like, Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse, both could be some, or they're both like a mega level mutants and beyond. They're just so powerful and could be amazing champions in game. Their signature abilities would be off the scale. We've covered both of them in the past with regards to this, so if you're interested, there's probably a video on the channel. These kind of like amazing mutants. However, though, these are up for debate because you could see things like Legion, you could see so many other different ones in there. I've linked up these two for the specific reason that Mr. Sinister and kind of run-ins with Jean Grey as well as Cyclops are kind of a good reason for that. Apocalypse in particular because there was the Age of Apocalypse kind of comic book story arc where Cyclops was heavily involved with things that were kind of mediating between him, the Inhumans, and as well as Apocalypse. So he's kind of a mediator between the two, though there isn't any kind of like great link here. But you know, it's still all good. I still think that this could be a good, strong suggestion. But there could be anything here. Emma Frost, Legion. Yeah, like there's the list goes on with what they could be. But I think these two are pretty solid. This is the point where I go out on a limb and kind of like put my integrity on out there, and that is that I think that this could be Weapon H. I know you're probably going, no, it can't be. Last time I said this was Namor, the kind of Aquaman of Marvel, and the link with regards to Illuminati and Doctor Strange seems to be pretty solid. However, there's been a recent comic book with Weapon H, and to give you an idea what Weapon H is, it's basically Wolverine's adamantium claws put inside Hulk. Yeah, very powerful stuff. And there's been this thing where Doctor Strange has to kind of like take down Weapon H and do some stuff with him. So I think that could be a really cool fit. It's quite modern. It kind of takes on what's happening that's current with the comic books and Weapon H at the moment. So yeah, I think that I will probably be wrong. It'll probably be Namor, or probably another character. But Weapon H, and with regards to his involvement, could be something in the future, could be quite exciting as well. Okay, right above my head is this one here. Deadpool, as we know, has got a sequel. It's coming out next month, and everyone is incredibly excited for it. There is, and this is when it becomes a little bit difficult, because if we're looking at things that are close to the movie, I'm not sure how the rights have changed with regards to what Kabam theoretically could do, because in this slot there could be several different options. Two I've put up there for the time being are Lady Deadpool as well as Domino. That does seem like a good fit either or either, but there are suggestions afoot that there is going to be a Juggernaut. So I've seen a lot of things with regards to rumours that Colossus is throwing this kind of punch with like something like a bit of metal between his knuckles, and he's going at what seems to be a Juggernaut. There was a 7-foot tall actor that was representing something in an unnamed role, and rumour is that is actually Juggernaut, which is going to be pretty insane, because hopefully we're going to see a Juggernaut that is so much more pleasing to people when they see it in the cinema, as opposed to the Vinnie Jones version. And as well, like, the Colossus kills it. Like, the Colossus in this particular kind of Deadpool verse is just so much better than the other one. No disrespect, I did like the other one, I thought he was quite good, but I just felt that this one is so much better, because he is more in keeping with like Russian accent, the kind of like he's appalled with violence and death, and it feels very kind of natural and more organic, even though obviously he's like absolutely huge and obviously CGI'd. But I like that aspect as well, because it feels like more comfortable from a viewing perspective. But I digress. It could be Juggernaut, it could be these two, or there could be something else. Now, there is rumour, and this is a big rumour, that it could be a different version of Deadpool. And there are several other versions of Deadpool, whether or not it's through Deadpool Corps, or it could be some others that have taken up the mantle in different locations, so to speak. But I'll leave that lie at the moment. Obviously, we won't know about that until it's confirmed information-wise. Okay, this becomes one of these kind of big shot in the dark things. And talking as well about rights and the rights to imagery of certain particular characters, it would be good to see these in there, and that's Silver Surfer and Galactus. With regards to the way that Act 6 could go, they need a strong enemy, and the only kind of strong enemy that I can possibly think of would be Galactus. The only thing that champion-wise that could be so much more powerful to then wreak havoc on the game and just literally be the better than Blade champion would indeed be Silver Surfer, and obviously to a degree Galactus would be as well. They're kind of the end of ends, end of worlds even, and obviously if you look at Dormammu, he was meant to be that, and is he that? Not particularly, no. So yeah, I know people will be screaming at me going, no, they don't own the rights to this. Well, you never know. People are saying as well, oh, it would take a certain amount of years for the rights for imagery to then go back over to Marvel from Fox. Don't read everything you kind of like see. There is going to be background deals and stuff. There's already been some stuff with regards to trailers of stuff being used for Fantastic Four. So and that's under Marvel name. So I think they're getting there. So it may be a case by the time that we end the year that we've got this. Don't know, but like, you know, it could be developing with Act 6, but like I said, who knows. And the other one is Karina Tavan, I think I said that right, and that is the Collector's daughter. We saw her kind of teased at the end of Act 5. I think that she'll be more prominent addition when it comes to Act 6 whenever that happens. Over to the right and kind of the center bottom of the screen, you'll see Dr. Spectrum. Now, it's very difficult to find a champion that links in well with that, but I think Dr. Spectrum may be a good fit with that. I'm not sure, obviously, we've got anything kind of really substantially linking the Grand Master with anything that, say, is going on with anything to do with the mutants, but it's very hard to kind of pinpoint these kind of 2-month things that may be going on. It could be 2 random champions that could be fit into here, but Dr. Spectrum seems like a good fit based on like powers and stuff going on with the Marvel Universe. And then we've got above my head Bullseye. I think this could be a strong fit based on linking with a character like Kingpin. It seems to kind of fit well with him and a kind of a grouping together. But this one could be a lot of question marks with him. Will he be? Won't he be? Seems a good fit. Don't know though. And here we go. Here's the final one. And this is incredibly difficult to pinpoint villains of the Spider-Verse, which could... And it is villains, because last time I think I tried to put heroines in here, and it just didn't work. When I look back at the video as well as like the comment section, it just didn't work at all. And I think this is where villains like Shriek, as well as Doppelganger, as well as Shockwave, as Mysterio, as Sandman. There's so many different ones to choose from. The 4 that I have stuck with, I think I'll probably take away Doppelganger. I'm not 100% sure I'm actually kind of fitting in there, and it's too much like a cross between Spider-Man and then just like a symbiote taking over. It's like, again, like completely stupid. Either way, yeah, Shriek, sort of confident with. Very confident with Sandman. As I said, Doppelganger, not so much. And Mysterio I feel more comfortable with. So I think of those, either going to be Mysterio, Sandman, or Shriek as being the enemies that are going to be taking on Mr. Spider-Man. And we'll get more of a kind of a stronger, kind of sinister grouping together against him when it comes to the next time we have some kind of web slinger action. I don't know when that will be. I don't know if they'll kind of factor in another event, but I really strongly think that we should have a Hydra event going back to that. Really like the Hydra stuff. So there we have it, guys. That has been my suggestions for these question marks. Obviously, I think this is a lot better than last time. I'll leave it over to the comment section to ridicule me based on that and saying, no, last time you were right, this time you're wrong. But I do feel strongly in this selection, except for a few things like Weapon H is kind of more of a want, and also the kind of muted suggestions, again, more of a want from myself. But the others, I think, are kind of good, strong suggestions based on stuff that's happened in the MCU, so comic book stuff that's happening, and some recent kind of events. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Either way, like I said, let me know in the comment section below whether you think that certain champion should be a different one based on these suggestions. As well, if you've got any kind of thoughts and maybe upcoming things that are going to change the game, then let me know as well. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been Rich the Man. Hit the like button, subscribe, share it with a friend, as well as hit the notification on so when my videos pop up, you see them first. And anyway, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye bye for now.